Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Hello and welcome one and all. I'm Katie Petrick and I'm joined as always by, not always, but special today is Dr. Jake Jacobs.
Hello, Katie.
Hello, Jake. How are you?
Oh, just wonderful.
Well, you're about to not be wonderful because we're going to head to Kentucky, where they're just not nice to high school graduates who have anything to say. So we have a Kentucky high schooler who has gone viral. You know what it means to go viral?
I've heard. I think
You've heard,
like
yes.
Getting like people see things about you.
People see things about you.
Yes.
Yes. Well, he has gone viral after he praised Jesus during a graduation speech, and of course, in turn, the school has to pull his diploma because hey, he went off script. Jake, that's not allowed. You can't do that.
That's right. God forbid you actually you have freedom of speech in the United States of America, right? So did they withhold his diploma because of this at first,
yep,
right?
Yep.
So his name is Micah Price. He received the green light. They allowed him to actually praise Jesus Christ in his commencement speech at Campbell County High School in Alexandria, Kentucky on May 24th. But following his address with urging other Christians to stand up, I love this young man, urging other Christians to stand up, right? And he says this, class, before another word leaves my mouth, I must give the honor, the praise, and the glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go to the video and see this.
I don't know, it's very crazy to be the talk of the town.
As a kid, now 18-year-old Micah Price had a goal of speaking at his high school graduation.
Ever since the 5th grade, I always wanted to give it. And I prayed about it a lot.
When he was in 8th grade, Price became a devoted Baptist.
I'm here to strictly push the message of Christ. I'm not here to push a political agenda.
On May 24th, while dressed in a purple cap and gown, Price accomplished both those things.
I would like to introduce Micah Price, a graduate of Campbell County High School 2024.
I must give the honor, the praise, and the glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. My Lord and Savior is your answer. He will give you the truth, give you the way.
But this came at a price.
Graduation finished. I went back to go get my envelope, which was going to have my diploma in it. One of the principals came up, just tapped me on the shoulder, and very respectfully, very professionally, just said, "You went off script. You know you're going to have to, talk to the board now."
Price's diploma was held from him for nearly a week.
I knew it was going to be held because before you do anything, they tell us all that if you go up there and do a cartwheel or something stupid like that, you will get your diploma held and you will have to speak in front of a board.
I asked him why he would do this, knowing the consequences.
I simply cannot hold back what Christ has done in my life. He is everything to me. He's everything to me.
Yeah, so he gets his diploma held, but guess what, young sir? You don't need that piece of paper anyway. I mean, I know he eventually did get it, but you don't need that piece of paper because I think you already have earned your diploma, your education in other means.
Well, absolutely. And I tell you, I wish we had millions more young men and women across this country who are unabashedly going to express their faith in Jesus Christ. I had a situation back in the year 2003 where one of my students was asked to sing a song. And the song happened to be giving glory to Jesus Christ. Well, long story short, she comes to me and says the superintendent won't let her do it. It actually made the headline of the Oshkosh Northwestern faith-based song "Okayed at Graduation." The only reason it was okayed is Bill O'Reilly from Fox News got a hold of her and says, "I'm going to bring you on the show," and the superintendent freaked out. And when she got done singing this song, acknowledging Jesus Christ as her Lord and Savior, half the audience with half the faculty rose up cheering her, and the other half did not. They just sat there.
Wow,
so
there was
a division within the faculty.
That's a moment. Wow.
But here, that was what was that 21 years ago or whatever, and here it is all these years later, and they're still attacking those who express their faith.
You could say it's the same old song.
Same old, nothing new under the sun, to quote Solomon.
Hey, that's right. I mean, I go four tops, you go biblical. Fine. We'll do this. Now, as we said, he did eventually get his diploma, but what's interesting is the fact, and you kind of heard it in the news package there, where he found out that, one of the principals pulled the diploma, and from what Micah says, Micah's not like even mad at the principal for doing this, because the principal was doing his job
That's what he says.
So like Micah is even in this situation, he is taking the higher route, right? Like he could have been like, "How dare you?" And he's still like, "I understand why they did it and what they did." And so he's leaps and bounds ahead of other kids his age.
The graciousness, the wisdom, the adultness of this young man was absolutely amazing. Seriously, he said, "Hey, I'm sorry." He says, "They were doing their job, but I had a higher calling." You know, just like the Apostle Peter says, "I must obey God rather than man." And this young man obeyed God and told the young people about his love of Jesus Christ, who's the Lord and Savior of all of us.
So it's kind of a heartwarming story, even though it's, on first glance, yes, it's like, how dare you pull this kid's diploma simply because of what he did. But they did, let's acknowledge the school for actually at least allowing him to praise Jesus for once and not just being like, no, you can't give that speech at all.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because let's take it back, not 2003, but 2004 when I gave a graduation speech. And I didn't have to get my speech approved at all. Like there was no approval needed. I just went in there and I read my speech, read my speech, and no one said otherwise. Maybe they just, small district didn't care. I don't know. But I guess I could have gotten away with a lot more.
You know, it's interesting. You say small district. That is really reflecting what's happening across the country. It's the rural, smaller districts that are more conservative, traditional, and Christian. It's in the bigger cities where the corrupt unions have been corrupting the curricula and shoving their woke agenda upon these kids. It's in the bigger schools, bigger districts where they have a lot more problems.
No, that makes definite sense. All right, well, let's go from a kid graduating and not coming back to school to a biology teacher. He's not graduating, but he's not coming back to school either. We have a story at a public institution where, you know, you're not allowed to encourage God, but hey, you also can acknowledge and love and worship cell phones, and that's causing a biology teacher to say, goodbye, everyone. So we know how you've been in the class for many a year, and you got to see the evolution of like, I got my first cell phone. Oh, it's in my locker. Oh, I only use it at nighttime. Okay. Oh, I got a cell phone. Now I can start to text. What's this new like ability thing we can do with a phone? Oh, I got my phone. Now it's in my pocket and I can text. Oh, now I have a smartwatch. I mean, it's just gone to like they're sitting there like breaker, like messaging. They can't get off their phones.
Katie, it's so funny because you just described exactly through my career what I saw.
A little bit, and then
incrementally, exponentially, it got worse and worse and worse. I would go down the hallways when we'd have our break, and I'd say, "Look up. Talk to each other." They would be addicted to that machine.
I've been the cool person who's gone down the hallway when they're looking down at their phone just to go stand right in front of them and see how long it takes. Some people literally walked into me. I mean, it could have been they did it on purpose, but I believe it. They don't know what's going on.
It's interesting. You mentioned about this texting and back and forth.
And now it's like,
well, what I did know one time after I took a bunch of the kids to Europe, to D-Day and all this stuff, Normandy Beach. So we're sitting back. We had a little get-together party with the kids, and the kids were, I was saying, I run a pretty tight ship, and I have great discipline in there, and you guys don't get away with the phone stuff. And the kids, all of them started laughing like, "Doc, you don't know." The girls would have the phone hid behind their books in their purse. They would be texting each other in the class, and I thought I had it under control. They outsmarted the doc all the time. Yeah,
as kids can do. For you elder,
be careful,
elders.
Katie.
All right, let's get to the story then. So we have a teacher out of Tucson, Arizona, biology teacher.
Ooh, I was just there.
His name is Mitchell Rutherford, and he has resigned from Saguaro High School.
Saguaro,
there we go. Because he feels that he can no longer do his job with the students being unable to concentrate. Let's take a look.
I've been struggling with mental health this year, mostly because of what I identified as basically just phone addiction with the students.
The 35-year-old biology teacher became a first-time father. He says last semester something just wasn't right. So. And this semester, he says, he was working harder than the students.
This year something shifted, and it's just like they're just numbing themselves. They're just checking out of society. They're just like, can't can't get rid of it, can't put it away.
He likens the phone addiction to that of drugs.
Opioids, obviously a huge problem. Cocaine, heroin, all of those drugs, alcohol, it's all a big problem. But like sugar even greater than that, and then phones even greater than that.
He says he tried everything in the book to get the students to dial it down and turn their phones off and turn on their brains.
Here's extra credit, let's check your screen time, let's create habits, let's do a unit on sleep and why sleep is important and how to reduce your phone usage. We'll talk about it every day and created a basket called Phone Jail.
So what does he believe is the solution to phone addiction?
As a society, we need to prioritize educating our youth and protecting our youth and allowing their brains to, and social skills and happiness to develop in a natural way without their phones.
So it's the everlasting at this moment cell phone debate. To have them in school, to not have them in school. What do you think?
Well, look at it. To not have them in school, and maybe I'm the old, mean old guy that's just old school and doesn't understand it.
He's just a mean old man who needs his
Keep
mother.
them at home, or maybe they're in your, but even if they're in the locker, they're still going to be messing with them and stuff. They shouldn't be allowed in school as far as I'm concerned.
Here, I'm fighting back, pushing back on you then. How are we going to catch all those teachers teaching all the woke nonsense then, Jake?
I hate it, Katie, when you have good points.
This is the problem we have, is we want the kids to be able to, if something goes bad, and again, school shootings, that's where people, you can get the arguments on both sides of it. Yes, we need to have the schools be allowed. Plus, it's their own personal property. How dare you take it, Jake? At the same time, our kids can't even read and write or do math because they're just too addicted, getting that dopamine rush in their head. They need to have it at all times. We're at a loss at the moment.
Win-win. Keep the phones at home. When I would go home after school, I'd turn on a TV and watch Batman. They can go home and turn on their phones and do whatever.
Yeah, but Jake, we don't live in the same world you lived in. You didn't have all the school shootings. You didn't have all the name 97,000 things.
And
that's
what I love
the argument. This is
what
the
I
argument.
love about this Tucson teacher who had the
ex-teacher,
but he's a hero. I mean, he literally said enough already. But did you hear him articulate? He wasn't just reacting. He was responding with empirical evidence saying this is a serious addiction. And it's not only addicting the children, it is actually poisoning the culture across America.
Absolutely, Jake, and that's precisely why our teachers are leaving what we like to call the good teachers, the ones who care and the ones who have their eyes open and are actually trying to do their job and want to educate the children. That's why he said he was 35 and he's leaving the classroom. And he seems, based on just what we see here in this clip, of all the efforts he's tried to make, and yet nothing has come from it, and now we're going to lose another teacher. Who's he going to be replaced by?
And by the way,
maybe someone who just loves cell phones and
lets kids do whatever.
Could you
go back to that picture? Yeah, look at that bolo tie, and it's look at the color. It's your shirt and my shirt. I just absolutely love that. Yeah.
Well, look at
typical Arizona bolo tie. Great stuff.
I'm not Arizona.
Turquoise, or that wasn't turquoise. What do they call that stone? You know, you don't know the stone that's very popular in the Southwest with the Native Americans. No, it's not jade. I just forgot what it's called.
I don't live in Arizona, Jake. So
okay,
don't ask me.
All right, friends, it's time to find out if you're smarter than a student at Freedom Project Academy. Who was the President of the United States when the Interstate Highway Act was passed by Congress that had resulted in all the great interstate highways we can travel today? A. Harry S. Truman. B. Dwight D. Eisenhower. C. John F. Kennedy. We'll be back with the answer after the break.
Today's episode is brought to you by Freedom Project Academy. Take back your kids' education. FPA's fully accredited classical curriculum provides live, on-demand, and homeschool courses built on Judeo-Christian values. Request your information packet and save 10% on tuition by visiting freedomforschool.com. That's freedom, F-O-R, school.com.
we're back. Now, before the break, we asked you if you were smarter than a student at Freedom Project Academy. Let's remember what that question was. Who was the President of the United States when the Interstate Highway Act was passed by Congress that has resulted in all the great interstate highways that we can travel today? Of course, Jake. The answer is B, Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Who was president when I was born.
Look at him go.
And he died on my birthday, March 28th, 1969.
Goodness gracious.
And the interstate highway system was actually established 1956, the great year 1956.
Boom, there you go. All right, well, for more information on Freedom Project Academy's Judeo-Christian Classical Online School that is now enrolling students for the fall, visit freedomforschool.com. That's freedom, F-O-R, school.com. Now, I don't do this too often, but I'd like to dedicate this next story to our producer, Mike, who is 100% this story that I'm about to tell you. Most Americans don't take all of their PTO because they dread workload when they return, a survey finds. Yes, it is. This is Mike in a nutshell. From the not taking vacation days to the number one reasoning for not taking said vacation days, which we'll reveal in just a moment here. Basically, taking vacation days from work is dreaded and many feel guilty. Mike falls into this category, all 100%. Now, a May 2024 survey by the Harris Poll showed that 66% of Americans, that's 2/3. I should specify American workers, because not everyone is a worker, but 66% of the American workers dread the backlog of work awaiting their return. And nearly half, so 47%, say that I feel guilty when I take paid time off or vacation days. It's interesting because the higher up, like management, it's saying 59% of them are upper management or, producer level status. So Mike would fall into that category of the I feel guilty and I dread the backlog. I say, let's just take a break. That's what I'd like to say.
Me too. I'll tell you
I would love to say take a break personally.
All my paid days off. If I could take a day off, and I worked long hours. I did.
Yeah.
But I like
took those days.
I took those days.
That's right. All right. Well, now for some, they are genuinely unable to disconnect from the office. Again, Mike. The poll found that 86% of workers said that they would check emails from their boss while off. Nowadays, I just get texts from him. Over half of the workers, 56%, say that they have taken a work-related call while off. Yep.
There goes your raise, by the way.
What raise? All right. The Harris poll found that 78% of Americans do not use their full allotment of paid time off in a given year. And additionally, 75% said that they wished to take all their allotted days off. Look at that. So 78% of them aren't using them all, and 75% of them are being like, well, I wish I would have used them all. So what's that 3% in between there? They're just like, no, I don't take them and I don't want to take them.
Oh,
like,
life is short.
Mike is in that 3% right there.
Life is short. Take a vacay.
You know why? Especially if you're in the creative industries, that you have to take that mental break because the creativity will just die.
Well,
if you
can see what happens here in the studio when Mike is working too hard. It goes down. It's not us.
It's not us.
It's
it
Mike.
Is on him.
Yeah.
And so we are just here to try to help him.
Yeah, that's why we picked this particular article. Mike needs help.
We're just trying. Help us. Help you.
Did he just leave the studio?
I think he's
just
gone.
left.
Maybe he's going on vacation. We did it. We did it. All right. Well, back to the story. Now, the number one reason that Americans say they don't take all their vacation time is due to pressure to always be available. They think they have to always be available. You're not a cyborg, okay? You have feelings, you have emotions and needs. You need to take breaks, okay? Do not become a cyborg and work 24/7. But that's the number one reason. The next top reason was the heavy workload. I mean, I know Jake and I are pretty perfect up here, so there's no edits that ever need to be made for anything.
No.
We get it all done, so it's not that heavy a workload. So I don't know, Mike. I feel like this is your time to just take a break.
You know what's interesting is I will text him or email him on the weekends, and within 2 minutes,
there it is.
He's responding.
Interesting how that works.
Yeah.
All right, now back to this. Some Americans do feel that they have to give the appearance of working. For instance, 30%, so 3 out of 10, say that they will schedule an email to send outside of their regular work hours to give the impression that they're working. I've never done this. I'm not skilled enough to schedule an email. I could do it, yeah, sure, but I just, no.
Yeah, well, same here. I'm not that clever.
I'm not doing that. But 31% say that they move their mouse while at work to like
pretend
it. And millennials are at 38%. You see that in the stats. So basically, you have a thing where I move the mouse and it makes it look like I'm working, and it gives like my online status depending on whatever they're logged in. Like,
I have a mouse here.
Well, so I can do that on mine
because I can't do that.
But it's still all they do is go like that, like I'm moving.
I see.
And it gives the appearance that I'm still online, because otherwise, depending on what software they use, it might switch. That's pretty funny. I've seen where they have it programmed to like make it move. There are a lot of videos out there you can see that, and it's the millennials who do it.
Your generation.
My generation does it because you don't. Your generation doesn't know how. You're actually too busy working.
We're not clever enough for that stuff.
Is do that. Now, the interesting thing, and especially in this day and age where Bidenomics is primo for pretty much absolutely no one, 50% of workers agreed that taking time off from work's a luxury that they can't afford. Thank you, Bidenomics.
Now, that part I understand.
Yeah, that part we get.
The country understands right now as we speak.
Yeah, and for those of us earning less than $50,000 a year, 63% of respondents say that they can't afford to miss work. 63% say, I just can't afford. I have to work. Well, so millennials and Black Americans were also more likely to say that they can't afford to take time off.
Well, you know what? Your generation can't even afford a home in many cases.
Yeah, thanks for that, by the way.
No, you always blame it on us.
I blame it on you personally.
It's the money printers in Washington, D.C. Inflation is created by the printing of money and this fiat, bogus Federal Reserve crap that's going on.
Whoa.
Don't blame
Stop
my
talking
generation.
the economics here. Stop talking the economics lesson over here. All right, well, I think we've harangued our good friend Mike enough and this story. So we have some more important things to do than just to do that. We have to rank and file some things up next. If you don't know what it is, well, stick around. We will tell you.
I'm getting nervous.
In 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. Introducing Patriot Mobile, the wireless carrier that stands with you. We are committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream.
Get free activation now with promo code EDUCATED. For those of you who have been around, and maybe you recall last time when Jake and I did a little ranking, we discussed the popular bands from the 60s, the 1960s.
And like Khrushchev, I buried you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, I was a bitter, and I still am, because the best band of all time was not included, the Brothers Gibb. And you guys may know them as the Bee Gees, but it's the Brothers Gibb. Anyway, it's another day, and it looks like our producer wants to make it up to me. Oh, does he now? By ranking 5 songs from none other than the great Philip Collins.
That's my wife's all-time favorite. She saw him in concert a few years ago.
As did I, on my birthday. Okay, what do we got first? What do we got? Billy, don't you lose my number. This is a fun video.
You're first. Ladies first.
Oh, Billy, don't you lose my number. It's a fun song. It's upbeat. But there's so many albums that I don't know. I'm assuming these are all solo stuff. This is going to be all solo Phil Collins, not Genesis stuff. So, Billy's a fun. I'll put him at 4.
I'm going to put 5.
Ooh, you're hoping for some. Are you going for the ballads?
Don't lose that number. 5.
I won't. Okay. I will. 4. I will not lose that number. Go ahead.
Oh.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. In the Air Tonight is perhaps the greatest song that Phil has ever put out. It has one of the, if not the best, drum drop beat Everyone knows it. It's iconic. And anyone who's never heard Phil Collins, I actually watch those videos sometimes of people hearing Phil Collins for the first time. And it's always in the air tonight. And they're like bobbing. And you wait. And then all of a sudden you see Phil work his way to his drum kit. And then he drops it.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
And everyone is like, you go first.
Number one. Numero uno. Number one.
Okay, I'm going to go number 2 with the hopes that I get my favorite song.
All right.
I'm going number 2, but it's fantastic. What do we got? What? Okay, Susudio's great. However, it means nothing. It literally means nothing. Phil said he was just getting the song and it just came out of his mouth. Susudio is nothing and everyone's confused by it.
I learned something new today. I didn't know that.
It's like it means nothingness to him.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 4.
Don't lose my number. I'm going to put it at my 5.
4.
So our 4 and 5 are our upbeat ones for Phil so far. Okay. You got a hold of me, wouldn't let go. I mean, how can I say I'm sorry? Or how many times can I say I'm sorry? Oh, something happened on the way to heaven. Again, upbeat, like Don't Lose My Number.
Yeah.
And Sussudio, but it's gonna be he's got to have the ballads be the top. So I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna put it at 3.
That's where I'm gonna put it. Number 3.
All right. So what do you have left? Your number 2.
I have number 2.
Number 2. I have my number 1.
Number 2.
I have my number 1 out open. If I know Mike, I'm going to take a guess here.
You're fired, so you don't know Mike anymore.
It's going to be Tarzan something. Oh, he put my favorite. This is my favorite. That's why. This is the best.
Emotional
This is okay. I can listen to this song over and over.
Get it together.
I can't hold it together. I don't know why. That song, Every Day, is my favorite song. It's from the Both Sides of the Story album, which Phil did all by himself. Like, he did all the stuff for it. Like, he just kind of locked himself away in his house or whatnot and put it all down, put all the tracks down. And so for some reason, that song gets me.
That is your number 1?
That's my number 1. Thank you, Michael.
Yep.
You've impressed me. All right. Well, if you enjoy our content, please do consider subscribing to the audio podcast and the weekly media e-blast, which does contain all of the top stories of the week. Simply go to stayeducated.org. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up Educated for this week. For Jake and myself, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated, America.
Ciao.